Alexander Usyk next for Fabio?
Sorry?
Is it Alexander Usyk next for Fabio?
It is. If he doesn't do it, then he'll be stripped and he'll be declared champion. Fabio is now the WBA and WBO interim champion. So that's it now. That's where we are.
Alexander Usyk has finally broken his silence on Fabio Wardley's bold call-out, and while the undisputed champion hasn't confirmed anything official yet, his camp has reportedly shown strong interest in making the fight happen.
Tell Usyk to turn up, give him the directions to Ipswich, I'll give him my postcode, he can come find me and we can do it in the garden. I don't care, as long as he's there, bring his belts, let's get this on.
The possibility of Usyk stepping into the ring with Wardley would have sounded far-fetched only a few months ago, but the boxing world moves fast, especially when an underdog pulls off something special. Wardley stunned Joseph Parker with an 11th round stoppage at London's O2 Arena, sending shockwaves through the heavyweight division and putting himself directly in line for the biggest fight of his life. It now looks like the Ukrainian great could defend all 4 of his heavyweight titles against Wardley in March, a showdown that might take place either under the bright lights of London's Wembley Stadium or once again in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Promoter Frank Warren has already hinted that negotiations are underway and that both sides seem confident an agreement will be reached without the need for purse bids.
Look, he said that he wants to carry on and he's got to, and he have to do it. And it's really simple. We're either going to do the fight or not. And the only reason it won't happen is if he says no, and then he will have to vacate or give up the title. And if he does that, he becomes the champion, WBO champion. He becomes world champion. And I'm sure you don't want to win a title like that, but it's win-win-win. It's either going to happen or it's not, but whatever happens, he's got a chance of becoming the world champion. He's either going to be for the 1 belt or the 4 belts.
For the 30-year-old from Ipswich, this moment has been years in the making. He started boxing in white-collar matches, the kind of bouts held in small halls for charity, without ever having an amateur background. Yet, through sheer grit, discipline, and raw power, he climbed from those humble beginnings to professional prominence. Now, after just 21 fights, he's on the verge of facing one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet for the undisputed crown. Wardley's win over Parker wasn't without controversy. Many fans and pundits have debated whether the referee stepped in too early, stopping Parker on his feet as Wardley unloaded a barrage of punches late in the 11th round. Parker himself felt he could have continued, insisting he wasn't badly hurt. But even his critics admit that Wardley's power is real. Power that has ended 19 of his 21 fights before the final bell.
I'll tell you what the right? I'm the 2nd best heavyweight in the world. You're gonna give me some I don't anymore, mate. Who 2nd best heavyweight in the world, apparently. Like, that's a wild one to say. It's annoying, but I understand the game. I know the tricks of the trade. It's not something new. I had it with Fraser Clark as well. His gum shield kept flying out. So I'm getting used to it, I guess. Especially now, there's no point crying over it. It's done, it's done. The win's a win. We got there. All I knew was I was just throwing punches. I was looking at him. All I remember is throwing punches in my brain thinking, ref. Like, come on, get involved. So, and I was a bit worried as well because of how the second one went, and I was listening for 2 things. I was throwing punches, trying to stay focused, but listening for the ref, but also listening for the clapper to like hear 10 seconds, and I was going, don't come yet. So I just kept throwing. I was like, might as well, look, it's 11th round, might as well leave it all in the ring. I don't know, but I hope he's clapping and he's proud in some sense, because at the early stage in my career, almost a weird kind of full circle moment, because maybe he saw something in me early on before everyone else, because like, he had me out there when I was 3 fights in and sparring with him, and I sparred with him, and then he brought me back again, so I must have done something right the first time around. So maybe he's looking at me and nodding his head a bit and saying, yeah, you know what, go on, like I knew you had a little bit of something and you're doing well, so look, I'm looking forward to hopping in the ring and having a scrap with him. Hello, Usyk.
Meanwhile, Usyk remains the sport's ultimate puzzle. Fresh off 2 back-to-back wins over Tyson Fury in 2024, he's shown time and again that skill and intelligence can neutralize brute force. Both of those fights took place in Riyadh, where the Ukrainian's slick movement and ring IQ made him nearly untouchable against the much larger Fury. He also reclaimed his IBF title earlier that year by defeating Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium, making him a 3-time undisputed world champion. Now, as Warren pointed out, Usyk and Wardley are the 2 names everyone's talking about. While the promoter would prefer to bring the fight home to the UK, ideally packing Wembley to the rafters, Riyadh remains a strong possibility given its history of hosting blockbuster events. Warren even called Wardley one of the most exciting attractions in world boxing right now, and the numbers back that up. Earlier this year, Wardley drew a crowd of 27,000 to Ipswich Town's football stadium in heavy rain, an impressive turnout for a local hero turned global contender.
Yeah, it's a wild one when you piece it all together like that. But look, I'm the next one up. I'm the next one at it. I've got big, broad shoulders, so that's fine by me. I'll carry all the pressure. There's no problem. But I'm something different. I think we've thrown enough of the kind of, not to say any of those guys are similar or the normal, usual, whichever else, but they all come from similar backgrounds, similar ways of doing things, and I come from a different school or a non-school, however you want to call it. So, look, we're throwing all the kind of the usual guys at him, our top dogs and whatever. So, yeah, look, let me have a crack with something different, see where we end up.
After his dramatic victory, Wardley plans to spend some much-needed time with his partner and young daughter before heading back into camp to prepare for what will undoubtedly be the most important fight of his career. It's a remarkable journey for someone who not long ago was still learning how to throw a proper jab. Frank Warren has been vocal about his fighters' chances and believes Wardley's story is unlike anything he's seen in decades of promoting. The Hall of Fame promoter, who has guided multiple world champions, admitted his amazement that someone with no amateur background could rise through the ranks so quickly and defeat a seasoned former world champion like Parker.
I'll tell you what the right? I'm the second best heavyweight in the world. You're gonna give me some I don't anymore, mate. Who is second best heavyweight in the world, apparently. Like, that's a wild one to say. It's annoying, but I understand the game. I know the tricks of the trade. It's not something new. I had it with Fraser Clark as well. His gum shield kept flying out. So I'm getting used to it, I guess. Especially now, there's no point crying over it. It's done, it's done. The win's a win. We got there. All I knew was I was just throwing punches. I was looking at him. All I remember is throwing punches in my brain thinking, ref. Like, come on. Get involved. So, and I was a bit worried as well because of how the second one went, and I was listening for two things. I was throwing punches, trying to stay focused, but listening for the ref, but also listening for the clapper to like hear 10 seconds, and I was going, don't come yet. So I just kept throwing. I was like, might as well, look, it's 11th round, might as well leave it all in the ring. I don't know, but I hope he's clapping and he's proud in some sense, because at the early stage in my career, almost a weird kind of full circle moment, because maybe he saw something in me early on before everyone else, because look, he had me out there when I was 3 fights in and sparring with him, and I sparred with him, then he brought me back again, so I must have done something right the first time around. So maybe he's looking at me and nodding his head a bit and saying, yeah, you know what, go on, like I knew you had a little bit of something and you're doing well, so look, I'm looking forward to hopping in the ring and having a scrap with him. Hello, Usyk.
The fight against Parker had plenty of drama. For most of the bout, the New Zealander looked in control, landing crisp shots and using his experience to stay a step ahead. But in round 10, Parker began to fade. Wardley sensed the shift, pressing forward with relentless pressure until the following round, when his thunderous shots forced the referee's intervention. While some fans argued Parker should have been allowed to continue, others pointed out that Wardley's finishing instincts and fitness level were extraordinary. He simply doesn't stop coming forward once he smells blood.
What did you make of the stoppage?
Man, the stoppage was the right way, because it takes a second for a man to die, and it takes a second for you to understand. So what the ref did there was amazing, bro. I admire what the ref did. He left Joseph Parker. Joseph didn't chuck anything. He chucked a shot afterwards and he missed it. But, you know, it's one of those things. What the ref did was amazing. You know, stopped the fight, yeah, in a good way.
What did you make of Fabio's performance? Because he was down. He was down on the cards, but obviously he managed to pull it out of the bag, didn't he?
But yeah, he put it out of the bag. Great fight, bro.
Several boxing figures have since weighed in on the stoppage. Carl Froch shared that while he thought Parker was slightly ahead of the scorecards, Wardley's onslaught on the 11th was fierce and unrelenting. Froch, who knows referee Howard Foster well, said he would have preferred to see the fight continue, but admitted that Foster acted in what he saw: Parker's vacant look and lack of response under fire. Froch called it a close call, but credited Wardley for his relentless attack and superior fitness, noting that even though some punches were smothered, the intent and aggression were clear.
Let's have a look. So Parker's on the ropes, tucking up. Little uppercut slip through, right hand misses. There's another 2-3 shots there. They've come together, a bit scrappy. Right hand lands there. Fabio's absolutely exhausted. Parker's still tucking up. 2 shots, 3 shots there. See, the problem there is a right hand, then a left hook, then a right hand. And all 3 shots really missed when Fabio Wardley was putting it on him. And Fabio had almost punched himself out. He was knackered, absolutely knackered. He pushes Parker. Well, Parker leans back on the ropes, guard up. It's like 2-3 big wings from Fabio. They look like little, impressively wings. Like if you're the referee stood this side, you're watching them thinking, oh, they're big, heavy, dangerous shots. But if you look, they don't land clean, do they? There's nothing lands. There's a right hand that lands. I'm still watching it again. Big uppercut miss, left hook scraped his gloves, right hand misses, and the ref jumps in. Too early. He was tired. He may have just robbed Fabio Wardley there of a great stoppage, which is what I was saying with me and Groves. It stopped a bit too early. If the fight was going to carry on, I would have got the conclusive finish. Fabio Wardley may have just got the finish.
Tony Bellew also weighed in on social media. He called it a bad stoppage, arguing that at this level of boxing, a referee should only step in when the end is obvious. Still, Bellew praised both men for delivering a thrilling, high-stakes contest that had fans glued to their seats. He posted, "That's a bad stoppage. At this level of boxing, the stoppage has to be definitive." That wasn't. Well done to both fighters, by the way, really good competitive fight. Tyson Fury, who was ringside supporting his close friend Parker, offered a balanced view afterward. The former heavyweight king said that although Parker had been ahead on his card, Wardley's barrage was legitimate and filled with unanswered punches. Fury admitted he was heartbroken for Parker, but also happy for Wardley, describing him as a big, strong man who carries his power from the first bell to the last.
Tyson, any word on the stoppage?
Listen, it's heavyweight boxing. You get caught some big shots, and you know there was a good few punches. I wasn't counting, but it looked like a lot. Obviously, I'm concerned for Joe because he's a friend and you know, close friend, and you don't want to see anybody get hurt. But it was what it was, you know.
Interestingly, Fury has also given his thoughts on a potential Usyk versus Wardley clash. Having faced Usyk twice and come up short both times, Fury knows better than anyone how difficult the Ukrainian can be to solve. He described Usyk as a special talent, but warned that Wardley's power makes him dangerous for anyone, including the champion. Fury pointed out that amateur experience doesn't define a fighter's future, that it's heart, toughness, and raw ability that count once the gloves are on.
Do you give Fabio a chance against Usyk?
Listen, Usyk's a special talent. He's a good boxer, but listen, Fabio's a big dangerous puncher, and I'm sure if he hits anybody, he'll knock him out. He's very strong and he carries his power for a long time, so he did really well. You know, congratulations to him, because everyone was saying before this fight, oh, he's had no amateur experience. He means shit amateur experience. George Foreman had 11 amateur fights and won the gold medal. So it doesn't mean nothing, to be fair. You're a big, strong man, big game man, done very well. So congratulations to him and his team. Well done.
Wardley's knockout power has now been confirmed by some of the division's biggest names. Parker himself, no stranger to heavy hitters like Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang, and Anthony Joshua, admitted that Wardley ranks among the hardest punchers he's ever faced. Though disappointed by the stoppage, Parker showed class in defeat, congratulating Wardley and saying he felt physically fine when the fight was halted, but respected the referee's decision. The New Zealander emphasized his desire to regroup, spend time with his family, and possibly return for a rematch down the line, though it seems Wardley's sights are already set firmly on Usyk.
You know what? I'm good. Congratulations to Fabio Wardley for a tough fight, the warrior. And at the end of the fight, I thought I was fine, but listen, I'm not the ref. I'm not the one controlling the fight in terms of everything. So, but I went out there, we both went out there and gave it our best, and he won tonight, so he's a good man.
Moses Atuma, Wardley's stablemate and another rising British heavyweight, also shared his thoughts, noting that knockouts are often set up long before they happen, through relentless pressure, smart adjustments, and sheer will. He said, "It doesn't surprise me. I had Fabio to stop him quite late, but I didn't think the fight was going to be so one-sided for Parker before Fabio got the knockout. There is a saying in our gym that a knockout happens way before it actually happens. It's the prep for the knockout. It's impressive for Fabio to come out of that. It's his heart, grit, determination. You have to admire it." Now, as Wardley's fairy tale continues, the focus turns to whether he can truly trouble Usyk. Usyk's speed, balance, and ring intelligence have made him nearly unbeatable, and most analysts agree he'll enter the fight as a heavy favorite. Still, Warren and his team believe Wardley's power gives him a legitimate chance. The promoter called it the great equalizer, that single punch that can change everything in an instant. Wardley's team knows what they're up against. Usyk's track record speaks for itself, undisputed at cruiserweight, undisputed at heavyweight, a fighter who's never been beaten professionally. But boxing is a funny way of rewriting expectations. The same people who doubted Wardley before the Parker fight are now wondering if he might have one more surprise left in him.
One of the generational talents, one of the best to ever do it on all the marbles. there's nothing more I could ask for. There's nothing more I could want within this sport. So just like everything else that's led me here, all I've ever asked for is the opportunity, and I've got that. And I'm not planning on stopping here. I'm not planning on getting in the ring with Usyk and going, look, thanks for having me, and just rolling over. That's not what I'm about. I think you saw that tonight. So yeah, look, when that bell does go, me and Usyk do finally get in the ring, he's gonna have to work for it. Tell Usyk to turn up, give him the directions to Ipswich. I'll give him my postcode, he can come find me and we can do it in the garden, but I don't care. Like, as long as he's there, bring his belts, let's get this on.
For Usyk, it would mean returning to the arena where he reclaimed his IFBF title and cemented his legacy as a modern legend. For Wardley, it would be the ultimate dream, stepping into the same ring to challenge that legacy, in front of his home fans for all 4 belts. Wardley's rise from white-collar underdog to world title contender feels almost cinematic, while Usyk stands as the ultimate test of boxing artistry and discipline.
This story is extraordinary. If he gets the fight against Usyk now, which expect him to, you'll have a fighter who is 335-15 as an amateur, 350 amateur fights, world amateur champion, European champion, Olympic champion, undisputed at cruiserweight, 2 times at heavyweight, against a guy who started boxing not even 10 years ago.
Yeah, but Paul, you look at Fabio, and like you say, you were criticising his shapes at times, but you were praising he's got a natural ability to stay away from shots as well, and an ability to survive and duck down. He's unorthodox.
Yeah, listen, I wasn't criticising the shapes. I'm saying when he throws the jab to the body against Joseph Parker, who has such a good right hand, it's probably the wrong shot to throw because he's leaning over. But then when he did get caught, he was very good at shelling up, at getting his head behind his shoulder and staying out of trouble. But
It's the shape of his own, isn't it?
Everything he's learning now, everything he knows now, and everything he does now is all what's been learned in the last 10 years. That's phenomenal for him to do that to someone like Joseph Parker.
As the heavyweight division continues to evolve, the sport finds itself drawn to stories like this: the quiet champion versus the fearless challenger, the technician versus the puncher, brains versus brawn. And while Usyk will enter the ring as the overwhelming favorite, the one thing that can't be ignored is Wardley's habit of proving people wrong. In just 8 years, he's gone from local boxing clubs to global headlines. From throwing punches for fun to standing on the brink of a multi-million-dollar undisputed title fight, his journey may have started as a curiosity, but now it's becoming something much bigger. A testament to belief, persistence, and the unpredictability that keeps boxing alive. So as the countdown to March begins, the question isn't just whether Wardley can beat Usyk, it's whether boxing's newest fairy tale can find its perfect ending. Under the stadium lights, with the whole world watching, and one of the sport's most unlikely heroes standing toe-to-toe with a legend.